We did a lot of shooting, a lot of drills that I would run in my classes. I used, I think, 4,000 rounds between the rifle and the pistol in about 3 days. So that's quite a lot of shooting. I mean, I was shooting gold dots through a Glock, so I felt it. Hi, I'm Ben from Practical Shooting Explained. Today, I'm going to be explaining what is it like to take an XrayAlpha class. Now, I'm sure you have questions. What is an XrayAlpha, and why would I want to take a class like that? And that's exactly the type of answers that I'm here to provide. So, XrayAlpha is a training company. It's essentially one guy. It's Matt Pranka. And he has a fairly long career inside of special operations, and he's an avid competitive shooter. So that gives him a pretty interesting background to be, really advanced sort of on the tactical side and be accomplished on the competitive side. That means he kind of has a foot in both camps, and me, I'm pretty much a pure competitor. So I enjoy training with somebody that's got a little bit of a different point of view on things. So I've trained with Matt in the past. I've known him for quite a while, and now that he's out kind of in the world and doing his own training, I thought it would be cool to go check out the class and kind of see what's going on. So this is a class. I think it's for SWAT cops primarily. I think I was the only one there, I should say, who isn't a SWAT cop. I was just there to kind of check it out, and I got some special access in order to get to do it. So I thought that was great. You might be wondering, why would I go do this? With my background, I probably don't need to be taking shooting classes. I suppose that's true. But I do like seeing practical shooting reach kind of the larger audience. So you see the competitive ideas of the way that competitive shooters train, and that kind of gets translated a little bit and given out to guys who carry a gun for their job. So I thought that was interesting. I have an interest in seeing how that works. And it's also useful for me to see how other people run their classes. Good instructors shouldn't stop learning. So that's why I went. Now, before we get too far down the track on what was in the class, we should probably discuss safety issues. So in the footage, you're going to see some stuff that's, I'm not going to lie to you, it's going to look pretty sketchy if you're used to conventional range rules. But think about the audience that's here. This is SWAT cops that have to be used to shooting past other people, like if they're clearing a building or something like that. So this class was run on, I guess, what you'd call Tier 1 range rules, where you're kind of responsible for the bullets you fire. You're responsible for not flagging other people with your muzzle. And then things are designed so that sometimes people will be slightly downrange of you at certain times, and you have more latitude, I would say, in a class like this. It speeds things up, I would say, for sure, especially when you're shooting distance with the rifle. If there's people a little bit downrange and off to the side of you, and you're not shooting in that direction or pointing your gun in that direction, it's going to save time for everybody, because you don't need to take time to get everybody back behind a common firing line. But I understand the footage might look a little sketchy. Well, just again, be aware of who the audience is for, and what you're seeing in this video. That would be common range rules for this type of environment, I would say. So the class consisted of lots of practical shooting sorts of drills. That means it's about balancing speed and accuracy. So there's an accuracy component and a speed component pretty much always in a class like this. Things are going to be challenging enough from a shooting perspective that when the time starts to get restricted, you just don't have enough time to do everything perfectly. So that's good for a practical environment, but I just want you to kind of look at it through the lens of you're not being given enough time to shoot every shot perfectly. And that's by design, because this is kind of focused on the practical part of using these guns. We did a lot of shooting, a lot of drills that I would run in my classes. I used, I think, 4,000 rounds between the rifle and the pistol in about 3 days. So that's quite a lot of shooting. I mean, I was shooting gold dots through a Glock, so I felt it. Let me put it that way. My hands felt it. We did all sorts of stuff from shooting far, 20, 25 yards with the pistols are relatively far to be shooting quickly. Shooting, I think, 80 yards with the rifles. So like fairly distant shooting for standing unsupported with no magnification with the rifle, and shooting quickly 80 yards is fairly far, I suppose. And then up close blasting, shooting really aggressively with the rifle. I learned a lot in the class. I really enjoyed it. And I really think that Matt, like I said before, he's the perfect person to carry this message to this audience. Just with his background, having 1 foot in each camp, so to speak, I thought it was great. The class culminated in a very, very interesting exercise that kind of layered together training is what Matt would say. So we had a practical shooting stage. Everybody got to look at it, and you knew the layout of the targets, and kind of what you were briefed is that you would be walked over to the stage blind. You wouldn't be able to see anything, and then you'd get the go, and you'd kind of go to every position and look at every target, but you'd end up having to discriminate. Should I shoot this target or not? And it was a very challenging exercise, maybe even harder than it's looking on video. As you can see, if you just take a glance at the targets, it can be difficult to even determine, hey, what should I do? I mean, what do I shoot? Do I shoot here or there? Like, what's going on with this target? And having people have to move through and address a lot of those targets under pressure with other people watching, it ended up being very, very challenging. So I thought that was an excellent exercise and really a great way to line things up. What I'm going to do is at the end of this video, I'll put the hat cam footage, just the raw hat cam footage from my run on that, where I got a different set of targets from everybody else. I think Matt wanted to make it especially, tough for me. So you can take a look at that hat cam footage and watch it in real time and just think like, wow, I mean, that looks pretty intense. It looks pretty challenging. And I would agree with you. It was pretty challenging. So that's what I've got for you today. If you've got any questions, put them down below, and we'll grab the best ideas and put them into a future video. Thanks for watching.
Figure out how to fucking. All right, shooter ready. Stand by. All right, okay. 1888. That's pretty good.